Hey, good evening, and welcome to the How to Deal with Burnout webinar. So, before we get started, well, just to let you know, I'm Devonta. I'm going to be giving you the webinar today. Um, I'd like to say hello to everyone. And before we get started, I just want you guys to, wherever you may be, whether you're at home, in the office, in the car, outside at a park, wherever it is you might be, I just want you to get a good look around your area. Just get a good look at your general environment. So just take a moment to just kind of scan the area over, look at how far the walls are away from you. If there's a tree, look at the tree. If you see some squirrels running around, look at the squirrels. Whatever you have around you, I just want you to be aware of the environment around you, okay? And after you've done that, give me a thumbs up so that I know that you've done it. And we are going to proceed, okay? So just take a moment to just look at the general area around you. Thank you, Mary. All right, so just a bit about me. I'm Devonta, and I have been giving actual seminars related to this subject for about 6 years. No, about almost 7 years now. So I've been giving seminars dealing with how to deal with this topic for about 7 years. And the things that I want to give you today, I want us to just have a lot of fun together, okay? So I'm going to give you information. You guys are going to give me information about you, and we're just going to go off on that like that. So the first thing I want to do when we get started, I just really want us to have a look at the word burnout, right? What is burnout? What does that mean? So the definition of burnout is a state where you feel physically and or emotionally exhausted. Okay? Now, one could ask the question, well, what does exhausted mean? What does it mean to feel exhaustion, right? So if you look in the dictionary, the actual definition for exhaustion would be having a physical or emotional or mental tiredness. So an individual has a physical, mental, or emotional tiredness. Okay? And that will be the definitions that we will be using for exhaustion or burnout. Okay? So, what does it mean to deal with something? So, when we want to deal with something, we want to take measures concerning that thing, especially with the intention of putting it right. Okay? So we want to take care of burnout and we want to put it right so that we don't feel that. So, just to get an overview of what it is that's occurring with you, what are some things that you guys run into when you feel burnt out? Like, what are some things that occur with you that happens when you feel burnt out? Oh, hey, Maraid. Good to see you. Okay, understood. Thank you, Mary. So, what are some things that you experience when you feel burnt out? So, as you guys are writing that down, I'm going to continue. So now let's look at what our purpose is, because what we're doing in life, we're all doing the same thing and we're all trying to work to get to the same goal. Not necessarily the same goal as mine is like, I want a house, I want cars, I want this, I want that. But we're all trying to survive. That's the one thing that we're all trying to do. So we all want to survive. Now, survival is not just, okay, I'm working really hard now and I'm just kind of making it, and I'm just kind of getting to the point where I'm okay with life. I'm content with life. No, that's not survival. Survival is you living your life to the fullest amount that you could live it in. So, whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you love and you're passionate about, you're excelling in these things. This is survival, okay? So, that is what we're talking about when we talk about survive. And that's the thing that we're all doing. We're all living life because we all want to survive. Now, you can survive as yourself. You can survive in the area of your family. You can survive in the area of groups like your work or friends, organizations that you're a part of, or you can just survive as a whole, as mankind. Okay? So, all of these areas we are surviving on ourself, family, work, groups, and as a whole of mankind. Okay? Now, we use our mind when we are surviving. Okay? Now, what are some things that you do for yourself to survive better? I want you guys to give me some examples of some things that you do for yourself to survive better. And it could be anything from going to the gym, working out, eating good food, spending time with your spouse, spending time with the kids, making sure that you get all of your deadlines met at job, hanging out with your friends, going out to places and supporting your organization. Good. That is very good, Mary. It's very good because sleep is very important for an individual. And running off of 3 to 4 hours of sleep a day, that's quite heavy. But wow. But it's good that you made sleep a priority. That's very good. And that's very contributive to your survival. Now, while we're surviving, we use our mind. And the purpose of the mind is to solve problems relating to your survival. That is its sole purpose. It has no other purpose than understood. I totally get that. Now, there is no other reason why we have a mind other than to solve problems relating to our survival. Okay? Now, what is work? Because most times we feel burnt out after work. Now, would you agree with this? Give me a thumbs up if you would agree with that statement, that most times we feel burnt out is after we get home from work. All right. Thank you, Mary. Good job. Thank you, Mairead. So, most times we feel burnt out after work. Now, the thing about this is that what is work actually, and why is it so important? Now, I'm going to be reading quotes out of a book called The Problems of Work, which is where there's a lot of data regarding problems that you encounter regarding work. Now, it says, let us redefine work and play. Play should be called work without a purpose. It could also be called activity without purpose. Okay, so this is play. There's no purpose in play. We just do what we want to do, and we're happy about it. So this is moments when we're going to the beach, we go on vacation, we go on a cruise, we do a lot of fun stuff. There's really no purpose into it except for the fact that just we don't want to have anything that we have to do. That we're just made that, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And I was like, no, I want to go on a cruise, so let's just go on a cruise. There's no purpose behind it. We just do it, and it feels really good. This is play, okay? Which is very vital to us. We need to have play, okay? Because we work so that we can have play. But what is work? Work is just the opposite of play. It is activity with purpose. Work is activity with purpose. So you have a purpose for your job, even if your purpose is just for you to get a paycheck. So some people just work because they just need to make the money, to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage, to get food, to get clothing for children. Whatever your purpose is for having your job, your purpose is why you work, right? So your work has purpose, okay? So work is activity with purpose. So that is work, all right? Now, work makes up a great deal of our time. Actually, work makes up about 7/10 of our day, of our lives. Because even when we go to school, that's still work. Like when we go to school, it's work because we have to be there. If we had a choice in not going to school or going to school, I know a lot of children just be like, nah, I don't necessarily want to go to school. I just want to, hang out with my friends and just have a lot of fun. But we have to be there. So this is like from a very young age, we're working. We have activity with purpose, okay? Now, what are some things that we encounter when we start to have work, okay? Has anybody ever been fired before or gotten to an altercation with the boss or gotten in trouble before or, been a victim of office gossip or anything like that? Anybody ever had any negative situations occur at work, at school, or at any organization that you were volunteering at or whatever it may be? Yes. All right. Thank you. Anybody else have any things that occurred at work that were quite stressful? All right. Thank you, Nicola. Now, let's look at Bob. I have a friend named Bob. So we're going to bring Bob here. Now, Bob is here, and Bob has his cup of coffee, and he's going into the office. And someone is running out of the office because they're going to miss a bus. And then Bob spills his coffee on his shirt because the guy runs past and then bumps into him. Now, Bob is not very happy that this occurred because now he has coffee in his shirt. But this is a problem for Bob. And now Bob is very upset. But he doesn't communicate this to anybody. It's just kind of just stuck in his mind. And it's just on his attention. Now, as Bob goes throughout the day, he gets to work, and his work is slightly affected by this incident, but not to the point to where his boss is going to be like, "Oh, well, what's going on, Bob? Like, why are you so strange today?" So Bob is just working. So Bob is working, and he's got his eye on the prize. He wants to get home, and he's a bit disgruntled. Okay, so he's not really excited about being at work today. He's just like, I just want to get this day over and done with. And then Bob finishes the day. Still feeling not very happy. Comes home. His wife is there. And she's happy to see him. He's like, "Oh my gosh, he's home." So she's like all arms open. And he's like, "Oh, babe, I'm not in the mood for it now. I just want to sit down and relax." So she lets him just sit down. He sits in the chair, and he's just feeling a bit weird. So this is what happens. He sits down in the chair and he's feeling a bit weird. Now, he would say in this moment that he feels a bit exhausted. He's like, I just want to be left alone. I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to deal with anybody. I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. But now I'm going to read to you a quote from this book, Dealing with Exhaustion, right? Because I think that everybody's going to have a lot of reality with this. So, one begins to feel after he's been long on a job. So, he's been working this job quite long. Bob has been working at this place for 6 years. That he has been considerably abused on this job, meaning that abused means like working very hard or harder than he should be working in regards to what he's actually getting for it. So maybe Bob doesn't get enough praise at his job, or maybe Bob doesn't get commended on things that he does that are very good. This would be in for him like abuse. It's like I'm just working and working like a slave. That that to work anymore will be quite beyond his endurance. He is tired. The thought of doing certain things makes him tired. So now, not even the action, not even him doing it. Oh, that's all right, Beatrice. It's good to have you. Not even the action of him working now is making him tired. The thought of doing certain things has become too heavy for him. Now, have you at any point in your life ever felt like just thinking about doing certain tasks become just like, oh my gosh, like I just don't want to deal with that right now? Have you felt like that before? Give me a thumbs up if you've ever felt like that. Just the thought of you doing certain things just makes you just, no, I don't want this. I just want to not deal with any of this stuff. He thinks of raising his energy or being able to force his way along just a little bit further. And if he does so, he's thinking in the wrong channels. So he's thinking the wrong way. If he's thinking that, oh, I'm just going to boost my energy up and just run for it and just tackle everything. Because exhaustion has little to do with energy. Okay? And I'm going to show you something. Now, as we go through life, we put our attention on things. Okay? Like Bob. Bob had his attention on his coffee. He really wanted that coffee. That was going to be some very good coffee. Now, Bob also had his attention on his desk, and he's working on the computer. So Bob really had his attention at these distances. Now, if you look at it, these two distances are quite similar that he has. Now, throughout the day, Bob also has a cell phone. So Bob takes out his cell phone. And he's on his cell phone. Now, look at the distance from the coffee, the cell phone, and the computer. They're quite similar. Now, I would even ask of you things that you put your attention on. How often are you on your phone? How often may you look at a tablet? How often are you on a laptop or a computer? Do you have to use a computer for your work? Or how often do you have objects that are very close to you, very close to your face? How often do you have these things at a position like this? Okay? I want you to just have a look for yourself. Just look over some times or some things that you do where you have your attention fixed in a very specific location for an extended period of time. Understood. Thank you, Beatrice. Anybody else? Anybody else notice how often they have objects very in a close or fixed position to them? Nobody? All right. Okay. So what happens is we have our attention so fixed on this that eventually our attention goes back to us. So we just kind of get sucked in our own head. It's like we live in our heads. Just because of the fact that we have our attention fixated on this spot in placement. It's so close to us that we just end up going inside. Okay? Now, the perfect example of this would be, has anyone ever seen a child who had a tablet or a phone? Anybody ever seen a child who had a phone or a tablet? Good. Thank you. Now, when looking at this child that has this phone and this tablet, if you reach for it and try to take it off of them, they're most likely going to scream. They're going to grab it and pull it back. Like, no, you can't have it. Like I'm watching Cocomelon or whatever I'm going to be watching. I'm watching my favorite shows. And it's like, okay. And it becomes like a arm wrestling match to get this tablet or this phone away from this child. But when they get off of it, they themselves look like they have been zombified. Like the dark circles are there. They look kind of like they're not even really here. They look like they're in like this big daze of like, and you could say that in that moment, they are exhausted simply because of the fact that they've had their attention shoved in this point for so long that now they're stuck in their head. And this is what we call introversion. Okay? Now, when I say introversion, I'm not saying that, oh, you're an introvert, oh, you're an extrovert. No, that's not what I'm saying. Introversion is looking in too closely to something. One is looking in too closely. That is introversion. It's not about your personality type. That doesn't matter. Introversion is looking in too closely. And the opposite of introversion would be extroversion. Now, we take this same person who had their phone just stuck in their hand, and we give them a ball. Let's say that their tablet dies. Should the image and the sound do not seem completely simultaneous? Could you expound on that a bit? I'm not sure. Okay, gotcha. Okay, understood. Now, let's say we get this same person a ball, and they now have a ball, and they're playing with the ball. Now, it starts off really slow. They start going, okay, kick the ball around and toss the ball somewhere, throw it at a wall or whatever. But then eventually, they're like throwing the ball super far away, throwing the ball to you. Let's play catch. The ball is in the air. You're playing catch. And everybody's having a great time. Now, this same person was just like this. Not really happy. Attention is like, oh, here. But now, here, same person, just a few moments later, their attention is out. It's outside of the environment. It's everywhere. You could say their attention is spread. They can see, they can look outward. Because if introversion is the ability of looking in too closely, extroversion is one being able to look outward. Okay? They're able to put their attention and look outward and see the things that are there, they are there, and everything that is there is there. Okay? That is extroversion. So, when we're going into exhaustion, the individual, or we get into burnout, we get this feeling of being burnt out. What is occurring is that over time, your attention is being controlled by your environment. You have to put your attention on various places, people, subjects, to the point to where you're mentally draining yourself because your attention is just being fixated on this one spot. Okay? And this is not good for anybody. That's why too much of anything is a bad thing. So putting your attention and fixating your attention on one spot for too long is not going to do anything but make you feel drained out. And it's going to stick your attention in that area. So when you come home, you might not be at work physically, but let's say you have your cell phone in your hand. And your cell phone is the same distance or even closer. You're like, even closer. The cell phone is like right here in our face. Like we get our cell phones and we're like this, we're just like, it's very fixed position that the cell phone would be in. And it's the same distance. And we can scroll through cell phone for hours upon hours upon hours until we realize that we just wasted 3 hours on a cell phone and we feel even more tired. Like we weren't doing anything but scrolling on a cell phone. Why do I feel more tired now scrolling on my cell phone than I did when I started? I wasn't doing anything. There was no physical activity. It was just my... But that's not. Your attention is being fixed in one area. This is why this is occurring. Now, so let's look at something else regarding exhaustion. A person who has a machine or books or objects continually at a fixed distance from him leaves his work and tends to keep his attention fixed exactly where his work was. In other words, his attention never really leaves his work at all. Although he goes home, he is still really sitting in the office. His attention is still fixed on the environment of his work. He begins to feel weariness or tiredness. Now, some of you said that you felt this before after work. And normally this is when these things would occur, is after work, because you come home and you bring work home. And when I say you bring work home, is that you still have your attention fixed in that space that you had it in. At work. That is still here on your attention. And the only time you're not going to have that there is if you did something to get that off. So you put your attention on something else intentionally, okay? Because going home is the same action every day, right? Everybody goes home the same way every day, unless the car is in the shop and it has to get fixed. Now you have to go home a different way. But you tend to not really be looking at everything around you. I'm pretty sure that if you drive you can drive your car and get to where you want to go, and somebody could ask you what color were the cars that were driving past you, and you really wouldn't be able to answer because you didn't have your attention on it. You're just looking at the steering wheel or just at the windshield, and you set up in the body to just automatically take me home. It's like, okay, let's go home. I know the route to go home like the back of my hand, so I can do it without thinking. Therefore, you're not actually putting your attention on the fact that you're driving. You're not putting your attention actually on the road. You're still thinking about work. Bob was still thinking about the coffee that got spilled on his shirt when he was on the way home. So his attention is still very much there. He got home, his attention is still there. And he goes to sleep, his attention is still there. And he goes to work, his attention is there, and he's there now. It's just, I'm always here. I'm always here. I'm always here. So this individual has his attention stuck on that spot, which is work. Okay? Now, as one continues, one has also picked up a lot of shock. One has picked up many shocks from work, whether it be the fear of getting fired, whether it be arguments that I've had, and these things are also stuck here in their attention. Now, this stuff has emotional attachment with it. So if you have this emotional attachment on you having your attention stuck here, this is also going to have a negative effect on you. Let's say Bob had an argument with Susie. She left mad. She left off angry. Yes. So Bob had an argument with Susie, and she stormed off. And she called him a bad name, and it made him feel sad. Now he feels sad. This is stuck here. He's going to have his attention on this. And anytime he comes around Susie, he's going to feel emotionally, he's going to feel a bit drained around her. It's like just the thought of being around Susie sounds like hard work. It's like, I don't get paid enough to be around Susie because I don't like her. And she makes me really sad. So I don't want to be around her, which does not do anything but tire him out. It drains him out. Okay? Because there is this emotional connection to Susie being there. She says mean things to me, and I don't like mean things being said to me. Okay? So he feels burnt out. Now, I want you guys to tell me some things that you do at home when you feel burnt out. What do you do when you feel burnt out? Sleep. Okay. Okay, good. All right, take a bubble bath. Lock the bathroom door. Nice. Nothing. Too tired to do anything. Okay, gotcha. Shower and sleep. Okay, good. All right. These are very good things. Now, if we do these things all the time, also we have to look at the distances that are here as well. Because when you're showering, I mean, you're pretty much just kind of looking at your hands and looking at the body, getting everything clean and da-da-da. Shower gel, everything is here. The knobby that you turn the shower on, that's here right in front of you. Everything is still very close to you, you know? And sometimes you feel a bit refreshed, but then you just want to go to sleep. You're like, I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep now and just call it a night, okay? But this is actually not the thing that we should do when we feel this way. What we should do is something that is going to get our attention out so that we can be in the moment that we're in and be there ourselves. And I promise you, you do this, you are going to get the best sleep you've had in a very long time. Now, I'm going to read this out to you because it's here in this book, The Problems of Work. And it says, when one feels tired on finishing work, no matter if the thought of doing so is almost all that he can tolerate without falling through the floor. So, what I'm going to say, you're going to be like, I don't want to do that after I get done with working. Like, I'm too tired to do it. You can. And if you want to improve this, you will do it. Okay? He should go out and walk around the block until he feels rested. Now, there's more to this. Don't just walk around the block. But he should go out and walk around the block until he feels rested. In short, he should walk around the block and look at things until he sees the things he's walking near. So he should go out, walk around the block, and look. That is the most important part of that. Look. One is looking at the things that he is walking near. So Bob comes home from work. Bob says, I feel exhausted. He parks his car in his driveway and he's like, oh, I don't want to take a walk. But I talked to my friend Devonta and he's like, dude, you just need to go walk until you see things. So I'm going to give it a shot. He puts his phone in his pocket. He does not take his phone out while he's doing this. Because all you're doing is when you take your phone out while you're doing this, you're fixing your attention on what's on the phone. And the distance is still here, right in your face. You want to put the phone away. Put it on silent. If somebody calls you, oh well, you'll answer them when you're done. Okay? Oh, that's very nice, Beatrice. Very nice. He's going to walk. And if there's a tree, he's going to look at the tree. If there's a lady walking down the road, he's going to look at this lady walking down the road. If there's a dog, he's going to look at the dog. Whatever is there, he is going to look at it until he really sees it. Okay? Because sometimes we go through life and we're not looking at the things that are actually happening around us. Things are happening. Everything is happening everywhere. We don't really notice everything that is actually happening around us. You could be walking down the street and some guy proposes to his girlfriend and you won't even see it or notice it until you hear people clapping. Oh, very good, Marie. That's nice. So now, he should walk around the block and look at things until he sees the things he is walking near. It does not matter how many times he walks around the block. He should walk around the block until he feels better. Now, in the book, after it states that, it actually says that once you're doing this, you'll start to feel a bit more tired. You'll start to feel sleepy. That's not the time for you to stop, okay? Because if you go to sleep, you're still going to wake up feeling tired. You're going to continue doing this until you feel refreshed, okay? So you're going to walk and walk and walk and walk. You're looking at stuff, you're looking at stuff, you're looking at stuff, you're looking at stuff until you really see it there. So, oh, that's a tree. Okay, it's not very fuzzy. It's not blurry. And then, oh, I'm starting to, get really tired. You'll be yawning. Your eyes might get watery. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep looking at stuff. Just throwing your attention out there. And then you're going to feel quite refreshed. And at that point, you jump inside the house, take a shower, eat your food if you got it, and go to sleep. But this is something that you should do, and that will handle the exhaustive feeling that you have. The exhaustive feeling that you have. Yeah, it's springtime. This is even better reason for you to go outside and walk. It's springtime. Everything is blossoming. Things are opening up. It looks beautiful. So you can take pleasure in actually looking at it. Like, it's not like the winter when all the leaves have already fallen off the trees and you're looking at naked trees that are just kind of there. So yeah, even more reason for you to go out and take a walk. But you can put your attention out on these things and not have your attention fixed in one area that causes you to get really introverted. Okay? So we don't want you to be introverted. We want you to be extroverted, being able to look outward. Okay? Now, what are some things? What's the effect that happens when you feel burnt out? Like, so you go home, you don't really feel like doing anything, but what effect does that have on your life? Like, are you able to? Do you just not want to entertain the husband? No, I don't want to go out. I don't want to hang out with my friends. I just want to stay home. I want to go to sleep. I want to eat my food, go to sleep. I don't want to do anything. What happens? Like, what effect does that have on your life? Yeah, it's very true. You do. There's definitely something that could happen when one feels this way. You get depressed. Anybody else? Sore legs and back? Yep. Yeah. We're not using it. Therefore, it's starting to get really sore. Especially if your job deals with you having to stand for a long period of time, or you sitting down for a long period of time. These things aren't moving. We need to be moving this stuff. The body is made to be moved. Headaches. Good. All right. So these are all effects that occur from you feeling drained out. When you feel burnt out, these are effects that you feel. Now, my question for you is, let's say you go and you're like, you know what? Take a walk. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going to do that. But even in the book, it deals with the way someone could feel if they're dealing with people. Because some people have jobs where they have to actually interact with people. Not everybody's job is very solitude. Some people actually have jobs where they have to deal with people. Does anybody here have a job where they have to actually deal with people? Is there anybody here who has a job where they have to always deal with some person? All right, good, Mary. Now, at times, do you ever get the moment where the feeling that I don't want to talk to anybody? I don't want to speak to anybody. Do you ever feel that way, Mary? All right, Beatrice, very good. So this is another form of burnout. The individual feels like, okay, gotcha. All right, good, understood. But this is another type of burnout where we get to the point to where we dealt with so many people. And some people, there could have been like in retail, some people can walk in, okay, how much this costs, how much this costs. Oh, what's that? What's this? How's that much? And da 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 da. And then they don't buy anything. And they just wasted like 2 hours of your time asking you for prices and trying to try stuff on. And then they walk out, they didn't buy anything. So you didn't get a win. You just kind of got your time wasted. And eventually you're just like, you know what? I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just don't, just everybody leave me alone. I just want to be by myself. And I just want to hide away from the rest of the world. Well, in the book, it talks about what to do to handle that situation as well, which is, it's very simple. You just look people over. So you go to some area, some crowded area. You don't talk to anybody. You just walk around and you look at people. You just look at people. And that's it. You're just walking around and you're looking at people. And then eventually, you'll start to feel more happy about people that you see. And then after that, you go home. And then you'll feel a lot better. And you go to work and you feel like, you know what? You guys are really cool. Until you feel the way that you felt again, and then you just have to look at people again. Okay? Now, taking a walk it's not just something that you do one day and then the rest of your life is grand and dandy. No, because it's not just one day that you're at work having your attention very close to your face. Okay? That's not what happens. What happens is it's over time. Okay? So it's the time that it takes to sink in. So you have this thing and you have your phone. I keep saying phone because that's the one thing that's very real to everybody. Everybody has a phone. And most people have social media. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people do things on their phone. They play games on their phone. They contact people on their phone. They text people on their phone. And it's here in our face. Some people have it on their watch, but when they're looking at it, they're like this. So distance is very much the same. And one can get fixed in that attention. And then over time, even another thing that happens is that one will start to have to wear glasses because they feel like they can't see the things that are, far away. They try to put their attention far away and it's like blurry. So they're like, oh, blink, 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 squint my eyes. Oh, that's a camera. Oh, that's a camera. But now they're wearing glasses now. But it has nothing to do with their eyesight. It's actually their attention. Their attention is so fixed in this area is that all they can see are things that are like here. So when it's time to come out this way, it's just like a camera. If you guys ever shot on a camera, it goes out of focus. You just have to put the focus back in and the individual will be able to see outward. Blink 3 times and then squint your eyes and you open them really big and it's like, oh, I can see now. But over time, it stops. But here, attention is here, attention is here, attention is here, attention is here. Now the guy is just very, very, very inside his own head. Okay? So that is burnout. And this is how to deal with burnout. So this is why burnout occurs, and this is how you can actually deal with it. Now, does anybody have any questions for me regarding this? Anybody have any questions for me? All right. Now, if you want to know more about how to deal with problems that occur at work or burnout itself, you actually read the actual references on it, then I have an offer for you. And that is, you get the Problems of Work book and a booklet called Tools for the Workplace. Okay? So you get the Problems of Work book and Tools for the Workplace, and that is €17. Normally, this would be 22. So you're getting a special discount on getting the Problems of Work book, which goes over tools to handle the workaday world. Now, this is from the link for the offer just got there. So you click that link, check it out, make sure it works. If it doesn't, let us know. But the book goes over various areas and problems that you can handle with work when it comes to communicating with people, handling upsets, exhaustion, both ways of it, and many, many, many other things that we encounter on a work-to-work day basis. And this thing really will give you information that you can utilize now, okay? But one thing I definitely I encourage every single one of you to do is tonight. Do it tonight. Go outside and take a walk. Look at things that are in the area, okay? Until you can really see it. And when you feel refreshed, go home and go to sleep, okay? Now, if you're a single mom, I don't know how to, maybe you can take the kids with you. But everybody, we're going outside, we're going to take a walk. But whatever you need to do to make it happen, just make it happen. Just go out, walk around, and look at the things that are around you. Now check that link out because this offer goes up until 9:30 tonight. So 9:30 tonight, that offer is going to close out, where you can get the Problems of Workbook and Tools for the Workplace for the price of €17. Now, this is a moment where I just want to open up for anybody. Anybody have any questions, any comments that they would like to add, any thing that was not very clear to them, anything that you would like more information about? Now is your time. Ask me your questions, and I will give you an answer. Hopefully one that you like. Okay, this is good. All right, well, if no one has any questions, but I understand, Marie. Oh, wow, wow. That's very interesting, Marie. We should definitely talk about that later. I'll give you a call. We can talk about that later. But that sounds really cool. But that is all that I have for you today. And if you guys don't have any questions, I'll end it off for tonight. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the webinar. And I look forward to seeing you guys later. My pleasure, Mary. Y'all have a good night. Make sure you take a walk. Take a walk.